You've heard the headlines. Bruce St. James and Pamela Hughes make sense of the madness now.
Mike Russell in for Bruce St. James. Pamela Hughes and I are going to kick off the 10 o'clock hour with the top story. It's got everybody fired up. It has to do with paying for patriotism.
The lead.
Yep. Paying for patriotism. That last military tribute you saw at the ball game may have been paid for by the Pentagon. Now, this is a new report released by Arizona Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake, and we find out that the Department of Defense spent nearly $7 million to honor soldiers at sporting events since 2012. Yeah, not the charitable gesture you may have thought by the home team.
You know this happens in the middle of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the middle of the field where we salute our men and women in uniform, right? And everybody claps. And
pre-game, and they unroll
like
the big old flag.
Right, and you think, man, the D-backs, the Suns, the Cardinals, whoever it is, man, our home teams are just taking care of our own, taking care of our men and women in uniform, and this is really cool. Wait, what? They're being paid? Let's see if we can make some sense of this. Let's go right to the man who can answer this, Junior Senator, State of Arizona, Jeff Flake. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Should we be mad about this? Is this something we should look at the DOD and get fired up about, or look at these sports teams and get fired up about?
Frankly, I place the blame at the DOD's feet here. The owners, and I've talked to a few in management, I don't think any of them had any idea that some of this money was being paid. It's down at the marketing level. But it is annoying. I mean, when you go to these games, you have these moments where they honor the hometown heroes or whatever else, and you just assume that's out of the goodness of the team's heart, and then find out that sometimes it's being paid for by the taxpayer. It just kind of cheapens the whole thing. And I should say these teams do a heck of a lot of good. They do a lot for the veterans and for the military, and so. Frankly, in amounts that dwarf anything in these contracts, but this just kind of cheapens the whole thing.
So is this money coming out of the military recruitment fund, or is it coming out of another fund? Because they say that the goal is to recruit, and if they're using these dollars to recruit, then can't they use the dollars how they see fit?
Well, yes, there is a marketing budget that the military has. I think over 2 years it's some $90 million, so it's a pretty hefty budget. We're only talking about, and let me just say, I don't think any of us have a problem with the military setting up a recruitment tent or having a booth or even doing billboard advertising and other activities as part of sports marketing. You need to go where the potential recruits are. What we have a problem with are those moments where the average fan, or just about every fan, assumes, is a tribute done by the team, for these members, and that just isn't right. I don't think it sits well with anyone.
We're talking to Senator Jeff Flake, and Senator, if you can help me out with this, because it seems like, okay, well, I kind of get it if it's done for recruitment. Is this more of we broke the rules, or is this more of, hey, that's just kind of shady?
I think just kind of distasteful.
Okay.
Frankly, I don't think there's certainly nothing here illegal, and some of the teams will say, well, we just kind of threw in these activities on top of a marketing contract, that included the booths, like I talked about, or recruitment tents. And in some cases that may have been true, but in some cases we have specific contracts. I think 72 of them we were able to uncover so far, where the activity was specifically spelled out, what the team needed to do and the amount of money paid to the team for that purpose. And that's what we had the real problem with.
Again, we are talking with Senator Jeff Flake on the KTAR Newsmaker line. He and Senator McCain said that several events honoring soldiers are nothing more than paid marketing campaigns put on for unsuspecting audiences funded by the Department of Defense. Sir, this report just came out. Are you seeing any movement, any changes in the wake of this release?
Yeah, so we actually uncovered this in in February or March of this year, just the initial contract. It was draft day, and I put out something called pork chops, where I try to ridicule some wasteful spending. Believe it, there's a never-ending list of it here in Washington, and we try to put it next to something topical or timely. And the NFL draft was coming up, and we thought, well, we'll see if there's any money going to the NFL. And we looked at it and stumbled onto a contract online somehow with the New York Jets, where they were to honor the hometown heroes, and there was a $20,000 item. Ooh. And it specified that the hometown hero needed to be up on the jumbotron, and a certain number of tickets allocated, and things like this. And so we thought maybe it goes deeper. And so we went to DOD, Department of Defense, and tried to get more information, and they were really, really reluctant. And it's been like pulling teeth ever since. And Senator McCain got involved. He's the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, has a little better access to some of these contracts than I do. And so we kind of teamed up and dug for several months and got what we have. We're not convinced that we have all of the information yet, but DOD has basically said we didn't do anything wrong, but we're not going to do it anymore. And so they've said that they're stopping the practice. We have included an amendment into the National Defense Authorization Act, which the president will likely sign in a couple of weeks, which bans the practice. And the teams as well. The NFL has said they are going to do an audit to see where this was done, and where it was, they will make a donation to the veterans or to reimburse. And so the teams have responded well. Like I said, I don't think the owners had any idea, and it certainly they don't want to taint all of the good activities and the good things that they do by accepting money to do just a few of these things.
And we're talking about $20,000, at least that one example, $20,000 a clip. You can imagine how many seasons we have, how many games, and how much money has gone into this. So the bottom line I'm seeing is that the NFL, at least, the owners of some of the other leagues, and you are taking this on, and you're squashing the practice, is what I hear?
Yes, I do think that this practice will end. And like I said, some of these tributes and obviously honoring the veterans and our troops went on long before there was compensation for it. It will hopefully go on long after. But the practice of actually paying for some of these specific salutes and tributes is going to end.
All right. Senator Jeff Flake joining us there. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Explaining a little bit about the DOD's report, or actually it's the senator's report on the DOD of teams paying to honor soldiers in a practice that it looks like is going to be squashed.